Hello and welcome to Market Insights. I am Lovina Emma. Today we will dive into the heart of Africa's growing e-commerce industry. Now, in a continent where we have traditional markets, I'm sure we all enjoy going to the markets, even if it's for food items, for cosmetics, for clothing, for anything we want. We have these traditional markets that we have been going to, and these markets serve as a cornerstone of commerce. They have done this for centuries, but online shopping is rapidly gaining ground. Now, as the digital landscape, especially in Africa, keeps evolving, a new approach is emerging, and that's hybrid solutions. Now, let's picture this. For example, now a trader sells goods in the market. It could be food items, it could be clothes, it could be cosmetics, anything. But he also takes orders online. Now, how has this hybrid approach been able to help this trader's business? Now, I'll tell you, he can reach customers beyond the market. He can even start exporting some of his products, not just limiting it to where he's selling alone. That's the state alone he's selling it. He can also take it outside his state and also outside his country. Now, that's the beauty of e-commerce, and that's the hybrid solution we're talking about this morning. Now, the combination of online and offline sales will definitely boost income for the trader and also for our economy. So that is absolutely fascinating. So it's not just about replacing the traditional market, but rather enhancing it with technology. So this hybrid approach seems to be striking a chord with consumers. And you have these days, a lot of consumers purchase their items from the internet, not just from our local markets. Now, let me ask you this. Why would you choose to buy things online? I'll tell you, it's convenient. I, for one, find it very convenient to purchase things that I need, whether it's household items, whether it's things that I need, food items, whether it's even writing materials. It's more convenient to purchase these things online, and you have them delivered right to your doorstep. But I also love the experience of going to the market. I mean, after all, it's part of our culture. So that's the beauty of hybrid solutions. They allow us to enjoy the best of both worlds. And as Africa continues to embrace technology, we can expect to see even more innovative ways to combine the digital and the physical realms. So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or a curious consumer, it's clear the hybrid solutions are the future on our continent. So after the break, we have a distinguished guest who will be joining us virtually to discuss more on e-commerce and hybrid solutions. So join us after the break. Thank you for watching the program. Now we have a guest who has joined us virtually live from United Kingdom, and his name is Dr. Ibukun Aino. He is a data analyst and also a business intelligence analyst. And we're going to be discussing African e-commerce and the need for hybrid solutions. So welcome to Market Insights, Dr. Ibukun Aino.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me this morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, that's good to hear. And how's everything in the United Kingdom? I hope you're enjoying the weather there.
Yeah, we are enjoying the epileptic kind of weather, and yeah, it's cold. Thank you.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, now I'm talking about e-commerce, or what are the let's just first of all start with looking at the landscape in Africa. Now, what are the primary challenges facing traditional e-commerce models in Africa?
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to compare what we have in the Western world and also in Africa. And I will really say that the technological trend in Africa has been so exponential, which I really commend the youth, and I will give kudos to the youth for doing that. And to a reasonable level, government is also supporting, but not as expected. So e-commerce in Africa is kind of growing, not as fast as some other parts of technology, such as social media, because people still believe that I want to see my money before, I want to see the product before I drop the money. And that's why hybrid system is so encouraged for any organization that is going to start an e-commerce business or is going to have an e-commerce product out there. You need to be able to embrace hybrid systems such that Even when you are still able to order online, before you get your product, you see it physically, and before you make your payment. So when you make your payment physically and get your product and be able to input the hybrid system into your market or into your product, that will encourage a lot of people that are still doubting the e-commerce system in the society, especially in Africa, to get encouraged and be able to put in their resources. And I believe with time, we'll get there.
Okay. Now, let's really delve into the challenges that might affect any potential business owner who want to start any e-commerce business of their choice. Now, looking at our continent, so let's be more specific now. Our country, Nigeria. Now, we have a lot of infrastructure gaps. For example, we have the internet connection issues also. Now, do these things impact e-commerce growth? With talking about internet connection and also logistics, will these things definitely affect the e-commerce growth in our country, Nigeria, before we talk about the wider continent?
All right, thank you. In Nigeria, if you are starting an e-commerce company, the first thing you should think of is the problem that is peculiar to your business environment. And take, for instance, Nigeria, just like you said, the transportation issue is very, very important to be considered compared to the Western world, where everywhere is the road to everywhere is okay and is good, and you can get to everywhere easily. Then the address system should also be considered. In the Western world, all houses have got a unique code, which is called postcode in the United Kingdom, and it doesn't exist like that in Nigeria. So combining these two problems now, it should have a solution. First thing you should consider as an e-commerce founder is, how is your product going to get to the destination? There are so many solutions you can consider. The first one is trying to liaise with the local community. Trust me, there is always a shop close to you. There's always a talk shop close to you, a family shopper shop close to you, that everyone in that street understand how it works. That is, they know the location. Why not, as an e-commerce company, partner with such company that is such local shop, and instead of you going straight to their house, not finding them at home, finding it difficult to locate the house because most houses are not even numbered, why not partner with them and drop it in that location? Whereas your customer can go to that location and pick it. And trust me, every of those local shops knows every individual in their environment, because that is where they get their local products. That is their daily products. So take, for instance, if you are living in Ojuelegba in Lagos and you live in very close to Ojuelegba Bridge, there is always a merchant selling daily needs there. So if you partner with that particular person, everyone in that axis can go there to buy or to pick whatever goods they send to that environment. So with this, it will conquer the issue of I can't find them at home, the issue of finding it difficult to locate the houses. Then also, it will also conquer the issue of transportation, because there are some areas that are not motorable. Now, it costs a lot of companies to get there, because you need to get to the house. You need to get to the house address. But if you have that local merchant where you can drop it there, you don't need to go to their house directly. They can locate it straight up there. Then the issue of trust. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scams everywhere, especially in Africa. And internet scam cannot just stop. We need to be able to build a system that is going to trust, that people can easily trust. Take, for instance, as a tech expert and also a tech CEO, we are also working on the products which are going to launch in Nigeria very soon, that is going to conquer a lot of scams on all the social media scams for buying and selling, for services and all. So such that the product is going to handle all the ups and downs of social media scam or online scam and things like that. So I believe taking security of your product we make it so easy for people to trust you and be able to get your products used easily. And this will conquer a lot of problems in the e-commerce world right now, as it is in Africa and also in Nigeria particularly.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Ibukun. Yes, you mentioned, there are two things that you mentioned. The trust issue. Now, that's something a lot of consumers complain of when they're purchasing things online, especially from people who advertise, all the social media vendors. There's the issue of, okay, I've paid for the item, and then later on I'm expecting it to get delivered to me, and it doesn't get delivered to me. And then I try to contact the seller, and I notice that she blocked me. I can't phone her. I can't chat with her on social media, and there's no way to reach her. And I have already paid for this, and that trust issue is something that really needs to be looked at. And then congrats on the upcoming product that you want to use to combat scams on the internet, especially when it comes to buying and selling online. That's something we definitely need urgently. But this trust issue now, what would you recommend to solve it? Because it's something everybody who buys and sells online, particularly the customers who buy online, have complained about. So what advice, or what would you do what kind of solution would you recommend?
All right, thank you. As a customer, unfortunately, to the level at which you can be so sure that your vendor is legitimate is so minimal, because internet cannot be as perfect as physical. However, there should be a level of trust you can have before you can put in your money. You should ask some questions. Firstly, what is the refund policy? You shouldn't just meet a vendor online and you feel like, okay, because he has got a very nice catalog on Instagram or Facebook or any social media, then is a very good product or is a very good vendor. You should be able to know if the organization is registered. If the organization is registered, you can easily trace it with EFCC or any security outfit in Nigeria. So that is why, and I'm happy that CAC is also encouraging every company to register such that they can easily be identified. They will have a physical location. Even if you are not trading there, they will have a particular number you can reach. So ensure that the company is registered before you put in your money as a consumer, if you are going to patronize online, because you cannot avoid patronizing online either now or in the next generation, because everything is going digital. And digitalizing the world will be the best thing that will happen to the world, especially with the invention of AI. AI has helped to do a lot of things easily. And trust me, it is easy to window shop online because by human nature, you want to see a lot before you pick one so that you know you are getting the optimal value for what you have got, or you are getting the best out of many that you have seen. So you can't avoid using the e-commerce, but ensure that you confirm the authenticity of this particular vendor before you bring in your money, by firstly checking if the company is registered. If it is not registered, it is not traceable. Another thing is check the reviews. Review for every product, there's always a review online. Check the review online. Read about their challenges. Read about their the good parts of the reviews. If the challenges are things you cannot handle, run away from it. Then, though there's no perfect product out there, but at least they should have like 4.5 star or 4 stars, if not 5 stars, which is almost impossible. So with this, you can trust the product. Then another thing is, if you are using a product that has got to do with consumption, drugs, that we deal with NAFDAC, check the NAFDAC number. You don't want to use the product that will jeopardize your life because you bought it online. So with all of this, then the payment platform, there are popular payment plans. Before you use any payment, there's what we call payment gateway. A payment gateway is a particular API, that is application programming interface, that is going to be connected to the e-commerce platform you are using or any online platform you are using to buy your product. Please ensure that those payment gateways are authentic. They are authentic. There are quite a number of them in Africa, which there's Paystack. There are so many which you can check, and there's Flutterwave. Check them, ensure that these ones are known so that they will not take your money through a particular API or particular gateway that is not legit, and you just end up seeing your money being deducted every time. And those are the common issues that happen with buying products online. And if you are making a transfer, before you make the transfer, please ensure that the product is authentic. If you can drop your deposit, and when you get the product, you paid the full payment. With that, you can also reduce the risk of losing all your money in case anything happens. And just like I said that we are working on the product, before the vendor will get paid, your product will have been delivered. However, you must have paid to an escrow. There's a particular type of payment which is called escrow, such that when you make payment, you will not get to the vendor, but it will be held somewhere until your product is being delivered and you confirm the delivery, or your service is being delivered, confirm delivery. Then you can get your money straight into the vendor's account. With this, it helps. And if you don't, in such a product, if you don't have a product that doesn't have something like escrow, you might try as much as possible to avoid it, because all of these things are ways to caution yourself by using the e-commerce or online platform to purchase your product and to get your services done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Ebuku. I know, yes, you really went in depth to explain how people can avoid being victims of any not trustworthy online seller. Now, looking at this, we know we have this issue. I mentioned it earlier on, of the internet connection. That's something, and also with the people living in the rural areas and people living in the urban areas. Also, that's also a very big issue when it comes to on selling on this e-commerce, patronizing e-commerce stores. Now, what role does the digital divide play in limiting e-commerce adoption when we look at the people living in the cities and people living in the rural areas?
Thank you so much. In the rural areas, unfortunately, the internet connection in the rural areas might not be so strong. That is, if they have got one. But one thing about the rural area right now in Nigeria that I'm so sure of is they've got a mobile network. There might not be an internet network, but there's a mobile network. So if e-commerce companies can start using USSD or SMS to make orders, such as you can type star whatever, maybe 143 hash, and it will show the list of products you have got, and you can pick any, check it, pick any. And take, for instance, let's take a scenario of buying. Let's say you want to buy a television set, and you press star 143 hash, and it shows the list of television sets, the product that is the brands. You see Sharp, you see LG, Lenovo, and all of that, and you press 1 if it is Lenovo. Then when you pick Lenovo, the next thing is the size. Press 2 if it is so size, and all of that till you get to the last part. And you can also use this USSD to make your payment. With this, people in the rural area can also enjoy using e-commerce platform, such that when they get to the urban city, it won't be strange to them, and they can also benefit from a lot of things the people in the city enjoy, because the way the tech is being structured right now, you just need to have an internet, but there are alternatives like the USSD and the SMS. So with this, they can also benefit the e-commerce trend and enjoy it maximally. Also, in the rural area, there are so many local merchants you can also partner with. I have lived in the rural area, I've lived in the urban area, I've lived in so many places, and I know there is always a notable person in that place that sells virtually everything. Why not partner with that person to ensure that the person can even use the USSD, or you can get recently the Starlink in Nigeria, get a Starlink for that person, and Starlink can get internet anywhere. Let the person be able to use it and encroach all the rural people living in that rural area, and they come to that shop and they'll be able to buy whatever they want to buy using that person's gadgets without any stress. So with this, you'll still be able to capture the rural area, and the people in the rural area can also enjoy the benefit of e-commerce, because the earlier you embrace it, the better. And the more you embrace it, the more you enjoy it, because it is flexible, you've got many options, it is so accessible, and it is available 24 hours. You can go on the internet at any time, browse wherever you want. In fact, you just need to study the environment. If that rural area, if their business happens to happen between maybe 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, just ensure within that time, the system is available for that local merchant so that they can come there and do. So in the UK here, there's a company called Every. Every has partnered with virtually all the local shops in your environment, such that you can drop your parcel
What's your
as
thoughts
your
for
next
now?
door
Okay, yes,
neighbor.
thank you for this. Yes,
Thank you.
I understand what you're saying, giving more and more examples. You actually, yes, you really explained that very well. Yes, but let me just pause your train of thoughts for now. Do you really think that e-commerce, yes, like you mentioned, it's something that is spreading all over the world? Do you think it's going to take over our traditional markets here in Africa or here in Nigeria?
Oh, well, if you could take it over, if you could take over traditional markets in the Western world, then you can take it to Nigeria. And the earlier, the better. And that is why any organization or any company that is not tech inclined right now is tend to fold up, because things are changing. Okay, take for instance, in the UK right now, there's a company called Wilco. Wilco sells a lot of stuff, a lot of things.
Yes,
And
sorry to interrupt you now. I just want to say let's not mention brand names. We can give
okay,
examples without mentioning brand
all right,
names.
that's
Okay,
fine. So
so
there are some brands in the UK where they've moved totally from traditional to e-commerce, because they realize a lot of their customers come from online, come from the e-commerce market, and they feel like going physical might be it might make them lose a lot of money, whereas just do it e-commerce, we make them gain a lot of money, reduce the number of staffs to be used, and still be able to make the profit. So it can happen in Africa, and it's definitely going to happen. So the earlier we embrace it as a company, or as a vendor, or as a particular consumer, so it is going to happen, and we should be prepared. Just like the way AI is taking everything right now. I believe before now we cannot have this kind of conversation because of distance, but technology has made it easy. So that's how e-commerce is going to happen. Right now, people can easily buy things from any part of the world using a lot of brands out there, where you can get your things from any company, any country, or any company in the world. So that is how e-commerce is going to be also in Nigeria and in Africa at large. Thank you.
now let's talk about businesses generally now. How can businesses ensure that their hybrid solutions are scalable and adaptable to changing market conditions?
All right. Thank you. First thing is you need to understand the market trend, and to embrace technology, because just like I said earlier, technology is taking over everything. So you need to study what will work for you. And that's why we have a lot of experts. We have business analysts, uh, business intelligence analysts, data analysts that can help you to understand the behavior of your customers. And they can give a required recommendation or business solutions towards that in order to implement your hybrid e-commerce system, or possibly if you want to go fully into e-commerce. But it is advisable that you text run. That is, after they must have done all the analysis, then they can give you an insight to the behavior of your customer and develop a business model that will work for you in order to use that hybrid system. And it is better to start with hybrid so that your customers will not going to have just a to change, and you can still retain the same customer. Then there are so many approaches to this hybrid system. You can do it like pay online, pick physically. You can do it like pay choose online, pay physically, and pick up physically. So there are so many models you can use, but you need to firstly study your customer, study the environment, your business environment, so that you can give the required solution and underline the required solution, not just giving a solution, because what works for company A or product A might not work for company B or product B. So understand how it works for you and take experts. Just like I said, business analysts, data analysts, data engineers, all of these will definitely help you to know how to migrate into the hybrid system or e-commerce system of trading.
Okay. Now, well said, by the way. Now, how can data analytics inform this personalized customer experiences in African e-commerce?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How can data analytics inform personalized customer experiences in African e-commerce?
All right, thank you. So the first thing is, it is high time we understood that every customer has got a behavior, and that is why you should have a database for your products. That is, record every of your customer behavior. So if you have a large data, that is a database for the behavior of your customer, so it is easy for you to pick it up and analyze it, check how the particular product they consume more or they buy more at a particular period of time. And at the same time, you'll be able to relate with your raw materials. If you are manufacturing, relate it with the future prediction. So with all of this, it will help you to avoid making some business errors. So the basis of being able to use data analytics or data analysis is ensure that you have a database for your customers. And there are so many ways you can extract your data. You can possibly get it from questionnaires, interviews, and if you've got an e-commerce system, ensure that your database is strong such that data analysts can connect to it and be able to fetch out the data, which will represent the behavior of your customer, and make a lot of predictions, which will really help you to grow your business, avoid so many errors, avoid so many losses. Because in business, I know business is about profit and loss, but if you can use data analysis, there's every possibility of taking off about a reasonable percentage of your loss, which will give you more profit. And it will also help you to know the type of staff that is redundant. So there are so many analytics you can do, or so many analysis you can do. You can do it on your employees, you can do it on your customers, you can do it on your vendors, you can do it on your partners, that is business partners. And so all of these things will help your business to grow more than the way it has been, because things are not the way it is right now. And making use of tech and data analysis will help you to predict what will happen in the future, avoid errors, and at the same time make a much profit that is higher ROI, return on investment. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Now, as an expert data analyst, Dr. Ibuku, now, can you tell me what factors influence consumer preferences, whether they are shopping online or offline, or even for hybrid shopping experiences?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Like I said, as a data analyst, now, what factors influence consumer preferences, whether they are shopping online, offline, or
All right.
generally the hybrid shopping experiences? Can you share with us?
All right. So the first thing is your customer service, because having a live chat or live conversation with a product you are relating with gives a lot of trust. Take, for instance, you might buy a product, let's say product A, and in the course of buying product A, you realize that, oh, you have bought product B, maybe by error, but you don't know how to approach, because this is not a physical shop where you can go and meet the sales rep. But what if you have a live chat which you can easily communicate with and possibly tell you how to navigate on this particular product? That is, go to this part, go to this part, because there's always a user manual for every online product. Uh, However, the user manual might not be enough, maybe the level of literacy and all of that. Then have a social media platform where you can put how your product can be used, the terms and conditions, how people can approach you easily so that they can trust you, because online buying a product online is about trust. So having a good customer service makes it so easy for people to trust you and to patronize you as an online product, that is, as an online company. Then another part is you must be able to understand the user journey. What I mean by user journey is you don't want to have your product to be too long to have your service done or to have your product to buy a particular product. So there's what we call a UI UX, that is user interface and user experience in product design. So they are experts in that field, which they will tell you that to get this particular product, to use this particular service or feature, it shouldn't take you more than 5 seconds. So if you are making it 5 minutes instead of 5 seconds, it will be tiring. So I will rather just prefer to walk into the shop rather than going all around the app, navigating on around the app or the website before I can buy my product. That's why you should have a good user interface and user experience as a business considering e-commerce. And the last part is, as a company considering e-commerce, you should be able to understand that you must make your platform new every day, in the sense that ensure you bring interactive or new things on the platform such that you not get bored. You don't want to see it like that every time. New every time. That's why some social media products, they keep on rolling out versions upon versions, versions upon versions. With this, you will improve your system, at the same time gain more trust, and you will look more serious to your customers. So this will help you to grow your business both physically and online. And trust me, for you to be able to trust a product online, you definitely be able to trust it physically. And that is why hybrid system is encouraged. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I like that. The fact that we need to, as a business owner, particularly when delving into the e-commerce sector, you need to keep improving and keep changing. Like you rightfully mentioned, it will definitely attract new customers and retain the old ones too. Now, let's talk about our regulatory environments. Now, what kind of policy reforms are needed to support e-commerce growth in Africa?
All right, thank you. Fortunately, Africa environment has really encouraged e-commerce. And because checking the policy, there are a lot of, before now, a lot of payment gateways were not accredited, and a lot of uh, online banking were not existing. But now in Africa, there are a lot of online banking, there are a lot of payment gateways, there are a lot of tech experts that are so good at developing that system for you. And now back to the government policy. For you to be able to scale well in your e-commerce business, you need to consider what policy is attached to the particular business you are working on. First thing is the data privacy, because during registration, you are going to take a particular data from them. This data needs to be well protected, and you need to state it in your terms and condition and privacy and agreement on your app. Then it should go along with government policy. As far as I'm concerned, the government policy is fair, and they are trying to protect the consumer. There is a consumer protecting agency in consumer protection agency in Nigeria, which can protect any consumer. So if you are having any issue with your data, and you should ensure that you reach out to the right organization, that is as a consumer. However, as an expert, that is as a company that is into e-commerce, please check the government policy that is. There are a lot of them. It depends on the kind of product you are working on. If you are working with services, there are a lot of terms and conditions, government policy attached to that. If you are dealing with finance, please ensure that you are going along with the CBN policy. And if you are dealing with transportation, I will just encourage that, please try to patronize insurance and also the government policy associated with insurance. So just like recently, there is a trend, or there was an issue or an accident in Nigeria about someone driving a car and something like that. I don't really want to go into that. But if you have followed the government policy and you are working with the right steps, that is, you insure your car and things like that, you'll be able to avoid a lot of issues. So please, whatever product you are working on, just ensure it aligns with the government policy. Government policy is so fair enough. I cannot be so particular because there are many. I would just like to generalize that. Make your research on the policy you're working on, ensure that your product meets with that, because in products or software development, there's management, there's what we call the stakeholders. And one of the stakeholders you need to consider in developing your tech product or any online product is the government. So they might fall in the category of just satisfying them so that you'll be able to meet up with what they want, so that when your product is online, you are not going to be brought down. So just ensure that we've had some experiences even in Nigeria where some products are being brought down because of government policy, and also recently one in
There's
Brazil.
something I would like to ask you now, Dr. Ebukun. Yes, we know it's very important to obey the regulations from government organizations when setting up an e-commerce platform. But now, how can the government balance regulation with innovation in the e-commerce sector?
Yes, thank you. The first thing is government should look into customer protection so well. If the consumers, that is the customers, are so sure that I am being protected, then there will be high level of trust. So what the major challenge in e-commerce in Africa right now is trust, because it's scam everywhere. If you tell anyone in Africa right now that buy this thing online, the first thing is, do you trust them? But what if the government has provided a policy that we say, oh, government is in charge, I know I'm safe. If you are being scammed on Instagram or any social media now, there's nowhere to go to. There's no government policy in charge of that. But what if there is a government policy handling that, or a sector, an agency handling that? Because it is high time we understood that the internet, the social media, and the online has come to stay. Everything is happening online right now. So government should really, really delve into it, look into it, protect lives and property online such that we can gain the trust and get everything done online with ease because we know we are protected.
Okay, so apart from consumer protection, what else would you recommend for government to ensure that this
Yes.
space is
Then,
the
thank you.
regulations are obeyed?
Yes. Then another part of it is government to also encourage and partner because one of the major challenges in for companies now that are into that is finances. Uh, Government should be able to bring out loans for companies that are ready to go online, that are ready to get that online space set, because that is where things are happening right now. And making that happen, it might just bring out a lot of policies in order to checkmate if you are really using the money for what is being used for. So I believe bringing loans for companies that are ready to go into e-commerce. We also encourage a lot of developers, a lot of tech experts to get into e-commerce and get, because to be honest, it is not cheap. You need to have a robust pocket before you can venture into a successful e-commerce, because there are a lot of logistics, a lot of cost to be incurred. But partnering with the government and government bringing out loans to support the people interested in e-commerce, we also go a long way. And with that, everyone, so imagine you have the government policy protecting the consumer and also the customers rather, and also the companies that are ready to venture into e-commerce. They are being given finance, given loans, and they are being monitored, and they get it done. Then I don't need to go to a physical shop again. I can get everything done online because government is in charge and everyone will be okay. And we have a very decent, secured online e-commerce platform
Okay.
for everyone to use happily.
Okay, yes. Well, we shouldn't really eliminate the use of going to physical markets, looking at the future. Yes, we know the future is e-commerce. We know that, but we should not completely rule out going to the markets or going to a shopping center, for example. Now, that being said, now let's look at the future outlook in a few words. Now, can you just tell us how emerging technologies like 5G and blockchain can shape the future of African e-commerce?
Right. If I get your point, you said, how can
Emerging
e-commerce.
technologies like 5G and blockchain shape the future of e-commerce in Africa?
All right. Thank you. In Africa right now, we are growing, just like I said, and the growth is exponential. But we need to understand that we need to embrace the trend in technology too. Just like you mentioned, blockchain. Blockchain, as it's not yet that popular in Africa, and embracing it and implementing it into e-commerce, we really go a long way in the sense that uh, the traditional method, which is just about just bringing your money, paying physically, dropping your cash, or maybe POS or and things like that. So there are so many alternatives like that, which you can use to help the e-commerce environment or ecosystem in order to get things done better in Africa. And also, we not totally write off, just like you said, we not totally write off the physical shops that is going on physical shopping rather than e-commerce, because sometimes too, you want to leave your physical environment, you want to leave your home to go to the shop to also walk around, especially if you are working from home or you work very close to your house. You also want to take your family out to shop, to just see things and all. But there are so many times which you wouldn't want to be out. And this e-commerce can serve you so well as far as it is being trusted. So uh, the digital technology in general, it can easily be implemented in e-commerce. And I would just advise the organizations or companies into e-commerce to embrace that and embracing it, we also make it give it a different look to the traditional way we believe e-commerce should be practiced.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ibuku, for your time this morning on Market Insights. As we discussed, African e-commerce needs hybrid solutions. It was really great talking about this with you. And it was also very good, all the advice that you had to share, especially with consumers buying things online from any social media vendor, and also how people can protect themselves against any kind of scam or being patronizing products that are not very good. Thank you so much for sharing your insights into this discussion. We really appreciate it, and we do hope you can join us again on Market Insights. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay, now let's look at the money markets this morning, how the Naira is faring when selling against the dollars, the pound sterling, and the euro. So for today, Wednesday, 18th September, we're looking at the Central Bank of Nigeria rates and the parallel markets rate. So for this morning, the dollar, the CBN rate, the dollar is currently selling at 1,678 Naira to $1. At the parallel market rate is selling for 1,660 Naira to $1. And for the pound sterling is selling at 2,247 Naira to one pound sterling. That's at the CBN rate. And at the parallel market rate is selling at 2,220 Naira to £1 sterling. For the euro, it's selling at 1,900 Naira. That's the CBN rate, 1,900 Naira to €1. At the parallel market rate, it is selling at 1,825 Naira to €1. So the parallel market figures are still higher than the CBN figures this morning. Yeah, well, there's a bit of a difference this morning. Surprisingly, the CBN rates were actually higher than the parallel market figures, which is something we don't see too often. So thank you so much for watching Market Insights this morning as our guest shared his insights into the discussion on African e-commerce and the need for more hybrid solutions. It was really great discussing this with him, and I hope you were able to learn a lot from this discussion. Do share your comments on our social media handles on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and also on TikTok. Many thanks for watching the program. Do stay tuned to the news update on SOUQ News Television. I am your host, Lovina Emma.